In closing, I'm going to give someone flush the toilet. Someone flush the toilet, me, right? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JBuck Studios, your home for reviews, reactions, and ridiculousness. And it's October, it's the spooky season, so, you know, HBO Max has got us with a kind of remake, spooky, nostalgia-filled movie, and it is the old Witches movie. A little boy and his kindly grandmother thwart the efforts of a coven of witches to rid Britain of children by turning them into mice. So is this Robert Zemeckis remake of The Witches that honestly scared the out of a lot of kids a must-see? Let's find out. But before I get into my thoughts, let me know what you thought of The Witches, if you've already seen this one, or how much did the 90s one ruin your childhood? Now let's get into some of the good. So yes, this remake is based on the 1983 Roald Dahl book, I believe, and then also the 90s movie as well, which I think everyone that grew up in the 90s is familiar with that movie because it scared the bejesus out of me. That being said, I was curious how they would translate that to this film. And I think that they did a fine job. You know, they took certain things and they transferred it over. I will say that the scary parts, there are some frightening things, I will say that. But this has almost this family-friendly, more kid-centric sheen over the top of it. Sure, the 90s one was very much catered to kids, but there was a darker aspect. This kind of feels like there's dark aspects, but it's very much like glossed over and it's more like happy-go-lucky, and it's not extremely going to ruin any children's lives, essentially. But getting into the performances that were kind of the positives for myself, Octavia Spencer and Anne Hathaway. Octavia Spencer, I thought she did a fine job of really leading us through this story, giving us a bit of a backstory of what had happened to her as a child, therefore reiterating all of the kind of rules and aspects that go around the world of witches, essentially dropping exposition, but she did a great job of really making it intriguing and interesting. But then Anne Hathaway, as the lead witch and whatnot, she is very much over the top. She looks like she's having fun, I will say that. Who knows what she was like on set, but she definitely looks like she is having fun throughout this role, throughout this performance. She is given some fun things to do. And also, the CGI on her face, I thought really worked. Like, it is Melina from Mortal Kombat, like, Melina wins, like, and that I thought was borderline terrifying. Again, I'm somewhat of an adult now, so not as much as the 90s one, but I thought that the CGI effects around that really worked. And also, the thing that really ties all of this together and really kind of solidifies this world and everything was the musical score in the background. It's not overwhelming, it's very much present and sets the tone through kind of the lobby scenes, the meeting scenes, the witches reveal and everything. So I thought that that was a nice touch. However, my God, this Witches movie is, oof, it was tough to watch. And I think it's the fact that the way everything played out, I mean, obviously Robert Zemeckis is at the forefront of this. He is the director. He is known for some good things, but obviously some misses as well. And I think that the reason that this just fell flat for me, from what I remember of the book and the 90s movie, there is a lot of substance. There is a lot in this world. And this movie feels like it glosses over a lot of that. It is Act 1, 2, and 3, and it doesn't really expand out. Like, honestly, when watching this and recounting it, it feels like there's 3 different scenes throughout this whole movie, and boom, we're to the end of the film. I think it's the fact that there wasn't depth. There wasn't substance to this film. It very much takes certain scenes and events from the book and the 90s movie, but kind of stretches them out. It doesn't feel like it's a whole film, essentially. So that was the biggest problem, is there wasn't much depth to this world. It kind of assumed that you knew what was going on. But then a few other aspects that just did not work was some of the writing for some of the characters. They were fine. I mean, the voiceover from Chris Rock I thought worked, but it wasn't like there was much emotion to it. You knew it was him, and you knew that you're like, oh, I hear Chris Rock. Let's hear something great from him. And it's just fine, I guess. But then a few of the other actor choices is, like I said, I really enjoyed Anne Hathaway's performance because she looked like she was having fun. But the accent that she put on, along with the accent of a handful of other witches, and then even some of the hotel staff, you couldn't understand a damn thing these characters were saying. I had to rewind it, throw on subtitles, because I was like, what did they just say? So I think that there was definitely a creative choice problem with some of the accents that maybe they thought was going to work on paper, did not work on the big screen. And then the CGI. Obviously, there's mice, there's other creatures, there's witches, there's transformation. And the CGI, aside from the face that I mentioned, was very hit or miss. Honestly, more miss than hit. It feels like the way that these creatures moved compared or on top of the environment felt so jarring. It very much took you out of it rather than, I guess in my mind, again, maybe I have to go back to the 90s one and compare the two, but I felt like this one just felt like it was slapping creatures on the screen and they kind of were moving without shading, rendering, you know, put it in the render farm a little bit longer, take some more time to really blend it in. Again, I am not a visual effects artist, so I don't know how difficult it was, but it definitely took me out of kind of that immersive feel that they were trying to go for. Overall, The Witches is this remake that a lot of people my age grew up with that definitely misses the mark. With it capturing a little bit of the essence of the world, performances, and a score that I thought worked. However, with it very much being surface level with no depth, character creative choices, especially the accents not working at all, CGI that just did not land, and that special spark to make this feel something special not being there, I would probably skip out on this remake of The Witches. You know, there's some aspects to this, some elements in this that I thought worked, but overall the creative choices and the way it weaves through the story, it's tough to watch. In closing, I'm going to give The Witches 2 out of 5 children mouses. So what did you think of this remake of The Witches now on HBO Max? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you love the 90s one? Or did the 90s one ruin your childhood much like mine? I want to know in the comments down below. Anyways though, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos up there or right over there, you know, brand new content every single week here on the JBuck Studios channel. This weekend, not sure what the hell is going on. Follow my social media down there to stay up to date on everything, because who knows, I might do something crazy, might do something weird, or just play video games over on Twitch. Like this video, subscribe to the JBuck Studios channel, and until next time, we'll see you later.